Hi, today we're talking about retirement planning, retirement solutions. So did you know that only 4% of people are retiring financially independent? Do you even know what retirement planning is and how it's changed over the times? Well, retirement planning is getting more difficult, and by the end of this video, we're going to explain to you why and the secrets that you may be missing in terms of why retirement planning is more difficult and how you can fix it for yourself. So I know some of you love what you do and you never want to retire, and that's great. I'm in that camp myself, but the reality is sometimes for reasons that we don't choose, like we get ill, we need to stop working. So the idea is I love to have enough money to stop working, but have the flexibility to know I can keep working as long as my health and my passion is still there. So what has changed over the years to make retirement planning so much more difficult? Let's look at how things were in the past. When you think of our parents' lifetimes and livelihoods and their parents, what was the reality? Well, most people had one job for almost their entire life. And with that one job, what did that come with? It came with a pension plan. Now, there are some people who have a pension plan, but they are the majority. And if you realize so really retirement planning was generally set and meant to be set up like a stool that had 3 separate legs. And one of the legs, and the strongest leg on there, was your pension, because your pension would cover about 2/3 of the income that you had when you were working. So, you know what? You stop working, you don't have as many expenses theoretically, and you have 2/3 of your income. Not so bad. So that one leg of the stool was very significant. And then the second leg of the stool, which we still have, is government support or assistance, right? We call that old age security and CPP. So I actually call that the not being naked and starving in the street pension, because if you just have that, you're not going to be naked and starving in the streets, but you're just not going to have enough. So it's not meant to keep you in a great lifestyle. It's meant to keep you from being naked and starving in the streets. So that second leg of the stool is still there actually. And the third leg of the stool is you would save some money so that when you retired, you would have some extra money apart from your pension, apart from your government assistance. You would have this third leg of your savings. And so, you know, and to be honest, when they came out with retirement plans through the government initially, when they came out with Old Age in Canada pension plan, you got to understand that people who were retiring at 65 were only generally living for 2 or 3 years. So at that point in time, the plans didn't have to be robust. Of course, now we're living much longer. The government has way less money. And most of our pension plans have been replaced with group RSPs or nothing. So basically what's happening is all the responsibility is on you to accumulate enough money. And accumulation doesn't work very well over the long run. You see, most people are so worried about getting the biggest dollar amount in retirement, kind of like when people climb Mount Everest. It's kind of the concept of let's get to the top of the hill, but the reality is in retirement, the important part is not to retire with the biggest pile of money, it's how to get down the Mount Everest safely, or how to get the most amount of reliable income in retirement. And we kind of lose track of that. So when we're doing retirement planning, our real focus should be, how do I get the most retirement income? And the problem is that just accumulation doesn't work. And why is that? What is different between pensions and accumulation? Well, if you look at a pension plan, the whole concept of pension plans are sharing the risk amongst a group of individuals. So when we work as a team, everything is easier. And how does that work in finance? Well, you know, if we all put money into a pool, let's say we had 6 grandmothers as an easy example sitting around the table, and they were all contributing $5,000 for their vacation fund every year. 6 times 5 is $30,000. Unfortunately, at the end of the year, if one grandma dies, now there's only 5 grandmas left. So now each grandma gets $6,000. So when one person passes away, their share goes back into the pool for the other people to benefit from. And if you look at your pension plan at work, if you are lucky enough to have one, you'll see that if you were to pass away, your spouse doesn't get all the money. They usually get either 2/3 or 60% of the pension. And if you don't have a spouse, then the whole amount doesn't go to your kids or your family. It actually goes back in the pool. So that is the idea. That is why pensions can continue, because on the law of large numbers or actuarial numbers, you can actually support a group of people a lot longer. So why do I tell you this? Well, it's really important to understand how retirement planning has changed. If you want, I'd love for you to leave a comment below to tell me, do you have a pension plan? What do you think of pension plans? Would you love to have a pension plan? Hi, so sorry, but the other Julie forgot the most important part. See, when you were working, you were getting a regular paycheck, and I guarantee you that the whole reason you're saving money is because you want to get a regular paycheck in retirement. So what are the two biggest problems in retirement? Well, the first problem is you don't know how long you're going to live, and of course you don't want to outlive your money. And the second problem is you don't know how markets will do in any given year. What does that mean? Well, we talk about the sequence of return, that if you get negatives at the beginning of your retirement, you can run out of money that much more quickly. We'll get into that in more detail in another video, but the bottom line is you can't control that you're going to live too long. We all want to live long and healthy, and we can't control the order of returns in the markets. So let's go back to our three-legged stool. Remember that in traditional retirement, you had lots of pension and just a little bit of investment money. That was the fun money that you were saving. And now it's the opposite, where you have probably a lot of investments and very little pension. But what is the difference, and why could that be a problem? Well, when we look at pension, they solve those two big problems, that you could never outlive your money, and there's absolutely no market risk when you have a pension plan. Well, when you try to base your retirement on just a two-legged stool, and one of the legs being the one with the fun money, which is just investments, then you're really very exposed to these problems of market risk and the risk of outliving your money. So you really need to include the two economic powers, and the two economic powers are investments, and the second one is actuarial science. So investments is your offense, and actuarial science is your defensive strategy. So what exactly is actuarial science? Well, it's pensions, it's annuities, and it's life insurance. And yes, even if you don't have a pension plan, you too can add this to your plan, and we can actually figure out exactly what the mix is that you should have in investments versus actuarial science, so that you can get the highest retirement income with the least amount of risk, most peace of mind in retirement, so that you can join the 4% who retire financially independent. So if you like this video, please hit the bell so that you'll be notified of future videos. Like it, subscribe, share, and if you'd like more information on how you could become a client, just hit the link below. And remember, I'm Julie Kranitz, Wealth Maximization Group, maximizing your wealth to maximize your life.